Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to Tony the Technician's channel. And today I'm going to show you how to use a battery tester. It's not like a pile load tester that you would come across if you took your car to like an AutoZone or O'Reilly's. Those load testers actually can damage your battery if your battery is already low. The only time I would recommend having that done is if you know for a fact that your battery's good. Doesn't really make any sense to have it done. So I would try and stay away from load testers because they are actually pretty bad for your battery. What we're going to be talking about is the electronic battery tester. This is the Solar BA9. They have like a BA7, I think they have a BA5, and there's a lot of different companies that make them. I almost bought the Matco one. The Matco one was pretty good too. It's a really nice little system, but I just decided to go with this because it displays more than the Matco one actually does, and the Matco one was $10 more. This ran me $50. The Matco one was, I believe, $60. You can get them for cheaper if you know your Matco guy. You could probably get them for $40. I know a couple of the students that go to my school that did. But there's a lot of different companies out there that make battery testers, and it tests the alternator, cranking, battery out of car, in car, all of that good stuff. So it's a pretty good little thing. This one was $50, so I'm pretty happy with it. It's got a LED lit back screen. It doesn't take batteries or anything. It only gets power when you connect it to the battery. Simple 3-button system, nothing like advanced. You're not going to have a whole bunch of buttons or anything. So it does range. It can read anywhere from 40 cold cranking amps to 1200 cold cranking amps. So it's got a pretty wide range from, some pretty small batteries for smaller engines and stuff like that, all the way up to a pretty good sized battery. What else? Basically, it has reverse polarity protection. So if you accidentally hook up the negative to the positive and the positive to the negative, you're gonna be okay. Just make sure as soon as you realize it that you switch it. It is, the quality is really nice. The entire thing is like coated in a rubber protective sleeve. It doesn't come off or anything. It's just a nice rubber coating over the entire thing. It also gives you some information on the back, just as far as like what some of the abbreviations that you'll see on this screen. It tells you what it means. Like BAT means battery test, cranking, alternator, ripple, SLI, AGMS, AGMF, SSA. They're all battery types and stuff like that. Error, battery charge, stuff like that. So it gives you a pretty good background on it. The cables are nice and strong. They feel, of quality, as well as the grips on the handle and the jaws themselves. They feel like they're gonna last quite a while. That's really about it. I still have the screen protector on mine. Besides that, when hooking it up, anytime you're hooking anything up to a battery, just go positive first, negative last, and you want to make sure your battery terminals are clean. To get the best test, it's best to take the vehicle or the battery out of the vehicle and test the battery by itself, because then there's no parasitic draws or anything on the battery, because you're connecting straight to the terminals. There's nothing coming off the terminals going anywhere. So when you do it in the vehicle, you want to make sure everything's off. The doors are shut, the lights are off, any accessories inside the vehicle are off. Make sure everything is off, so you get a more accurate test on your battery, because a parasitic draw is anything that's drawing power from your battery after everything is off. Like your radio, it has memory, so you're always going to have a small amount of parasitic draw, but not enough to actually drain your battery, let's say like over a week. But anything like, I have a radar in my car and some lights and stuff, if I would leave those on, the parasitic draw is going to be up, even though everything's supposed to be off. If it was still drawing power from the battery after the vehicle was off, that's a parasitic draw. So you want to make sure that basically everything's off to get the most accurate test on the battery. But let me make sure everything's cleaned up, because you want to make sure the battery terminals are clean and free of corrosion and debris and all of that. And then we'll get it hooked up and I'll show you how to use the solar BA9. Okay, so another thing I want to cover right before we test this battery is another thing you want to check before actually hooking up your tester and doing anything. You want to make sure to inspect the battery for damage. If you have a cracked battery or the battery is starting to balloon, you definitely don't want to be running any tests and you don't want to use the battery anymore. So keep an eye out, make sure you have no cracks or leaks or anything in your battery. Also, if it's not a maintenance-free battery, which basically just means that you can remove the tops over the cells and you can refill it with the distilled water. If you have a battery like that, go ahead and make sure that all of the cells are filled all the way up. Don't overfill it. Make sure the battery is recharged. I'm not going to charge my battery because I want you guys to see an actual test, not one that we know is going to pass. Most likely, mine's going to say like, okay, recharge, because on this system, you're going to have a few different things that it's going to say. It's going to say okay, as in the battery is good, as far as the cold cranking amps and the voltage. Or you're going to have an okay recharge, which means that it's okay, it has the cranking capability, but your voltage might be low. Then you're going to have bad, which, or recharge, and then bad, which, even if you did recharge it, the state of health of the battery is not good enough to actually recharge and use that battery. So you're also going to get a reading on here that's going to tell you the state of charge and state of health. Say my battery is 90% charged, state of charge, and 30% state of health. So no matter how much I charge my battery, the state of health is really bad. So no matter how much I charge it, battery's not going to hold a charge. So it gives a lot of good information and everything. Mine will probably be an okay recharge because I know my parasitic draw from leaving my radar on for like 3 days has actually dropped my battery probably down to, 12.5 volts. And really anything below that, you really want to charge your battery. So this battery's not that old, but before I even put that on there, I am going to test it with this multimeter and see how it compares to the reading that comes out on here once I plug it in. But now I'm going to set you guys up so you can see what I'm doing. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do first is just test it with my voltmeter, set to volts, make sure you have your plugs in the right area, and let's see if we can get this tested. So it is a little low, as you can tell here, so it's definitely going to need charged here soon, but we'll see how this test goes anyways. Let's see what the actual BA9 reads out on it. So like I stated, you want to check and make sure that the battery has no damage. You want to make sure that both posts are clean and free of corrosion and everything. It's best to take it out if you are doing this, but you can do it in the vehicle because this BA9, it doesn't just do battery test, it can do a cranking test, alternator test. It can do a test on everything without load, and then it can do a test with load. But I'll save that for another video. I'm just going to do a battery test in this video, just to show you a little bit about this solar BA9. So we're going to hook up the positive first. See if I can find somewhere to clamp real good. So we have power. Yeah, it's reading basically the same thing as the DVOM. So we're just going to hit enter. It has all these different battery types. So you want to check and see what type of battery you have, and then you want to check the cold cranking amps. This is 650. So cold cranking amps. And it's already set at 650. As I said, it ranges from 40 to 1200 or 1400. Can't remember right now. One of the two. So there, we're going to test it. It says error, which that means it's not getting a good connection with the cables. So go ahead and adjust your cables and try and get it set up again. Okay, so I've adjusted the cables up a little bit higher to get a better connection. As you can see, I'm still getting the same reading. We're going to do a battery test. It's a SLI. Set it to cold cranking amps. You can also do CA. And there's a few different settings. So I'm checking cold cranking amps, 650. And here you can see it got a good connection, so it's testing. You got 12.26 volts at 787 cold cranking amps. So as you can tell, it's exactly what I thought. It's an okay recharge. It means you have enough cold cranking amps, but your voltage is getting low. So as long as I recharge this battery, we're good to go. You're also going to get just an okay, or just a recharge, or an error like I showed you when the connectors don't get a good connection on the battery. And then you'll have bad, which obviously that just means bad. And then you can also go into, let me do this again real quick, because there's no back button. You can either disconnect it or run it through again, because the test literally only takes about 2 seconds. So you have cranking and battery test. So cranking, you would start up the vehicle and run it at about 1200 RPM. But I'll save that for another video. Sorry, I almost forgot to show you another thing that it shows you. If you get done with the test and it shows you the cold cranking amps and the voltage and it says okay recharge, if you hit the down arrow, you have a state of charge, which is 61%, and that's your internal resistance. That's what the M and the little ohm meter means. That's your internal resistance of the battery. And then you have state of health, it's 100, so you know the battery is in really good condition, but because of the state of charge, it's only 61% charged. And that's why you get an okay recharge. So this battery needs recharged, and it will be good for much longer. But I just wanted to show you guys that before. So that's it as far as just the battery test. Alright YouTubers, so that's basically it as far as the BA9. It's a $50 battery tester and it works really well. But you can find it for $50. It ranges from $50 to $100, so keep your eye out. $50 is what I would pay for it. If it was any more, I'd probably go with the Matco one or any of the others, but this is a really good battery tester. So you guys kind of got a better idea of what the battery tester actually shows as far as a battery test. I didn't just show you a perfectly good battery. You guys saw that the battery does need recharge. You saw the state of health, state of charge, cold cranking amps, and you guys also saw that the BA9 does like 6 different battery types and everything, and it's got a wide range for cold cranking amps. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're looking for a battery tester, I would suggest this one. It is a good battery tester. And if you guys have one out there that you guys like, maybe share it with the other subscribers and leave a comment down below what you guys think. And I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that thumbs up, comment if you have any suggestions or questions, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Thank you guys.